Is it not gonna... Yeah. There we are. Right. Good evening, everybody. I'm extremely nervous. This is my first stream alone. Normally it's me and my partner Dion. They've currently got a lot going on, so I decided if I was ever going to start streaming on my own, tonight would be the night. So the plan I have is that I'm going to react to my coming out video that I did years back. Just sort of to elaborate on it, poke holes in it, because I'm a very different person now. And yeah, I'll gradually, hopefully, stop being so nervous as the night goes on. Forgive me, just trying to load chat up. See, because I'm on my own, it takes like twice as long for me to do things, because I'm kind of shitting myself at the same time as like doing all the background stuff. Because usually when there's two of us, one will carry on talking while the other person kind of fiddles around with all the stuff. Now I've got to think about words coming out of my mouth at the same time as playing with the buttons and stuff. I'm getting distracted all the time. But yeah, I just want to see if any of you will pop into chat, and then I can give me something to do while I'm fiddling around. My phone is not helping me. I don't want to have to do it that way though, because I can't see chat while I'm reacting to a video. I suppose I can do it on my phone if I plug in. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good night. It's the Trans Day of almost said Remembrance then. It's the Trans Day of Visibility. Which is a different thing. Remembrance is usually a little bit more sad. We remember the people that we've lost throughout the year. Whereas the Day of Visibility is a little bit more showmanship, you know. You know, you get to show your colours and do all the good stuff, you know, like you get to Dion would help me if they were here. You get to serve pure gender. There you go. I think that's about as close as I can get to what the saying is. Christ, this must be boring. I promise I'll get on to actual content. It'd be interesting to actually find out how reactions work, because this is my first attempting one. And I couldn't get the earphone to work in the back of the mic, which is what we were doing when we were playing Harry Potter, but for some reason it doesn't work. So I'm hoping with the earphones plugged into the laptop that it will keep the audio from coming out of the laptop and into the mic, but I'm hoping that the desktop audio will still be legible for you guys. I did record like a 10-second clip of like another video playing on YouTube, and it seemed to pick it up with the earphones in the laptop, so I guess we can test it. Dion, if you're in chat, could you tell me if you hear the what's about to be played? I'll play a bit of Quinton reviews. Let me just wait for your response. I'm getting that fucking yellow thing again. Okay, right, so at some point, by the way, I'll figure out how to have me on camera as well, so you can have the full shebang. But anyway, this is like a little bit of something else, just to test.
He's wanted by him. Other guys will suddenly pine.
Oh, YouTube's not doing too well. There should have been enough audio there for you to hear.
As two guys pass them in the hall, she forcefully kisses him, which is funny because the writers have a generally poor relationship with consent, which often seems irrelevant to the genders of the characters in question. Kat, Tori, and Jade continue on their car ride to the house of Kat's favorite actress.
Before we go full Hassan Piker, I'll stop there. Did you hear any of that? Oh, wicked. Okay, we're in business then. That means I can react to all sorts. Because I'm thinking, because, you know, today all that matters is the fact that I'm transgender. Nothing else, like, matters. I'm being facetious. But, like, I want to do, like, music videos and stuff, you know, just lots of stuff, comedy, discourse, you know, all sorts. And I think the more I come out of my shell, eventually I'll get to the point where I can just kind of hop on stream and do it with no issues. But now that I know that it's all working, let's go on to the meat of what I'm doing tonight. Okay, so we rewind. And so I made a video about me being trans about 2 years ago, April the 4th, 2019. And there's going to be a lot of stuff in there where I was wrong about things, or I didn't include enough details, so it's kind of just a bit like, oh, and that happened, and then boom, you know, like I start off in the video at like 2 or whatever, and then I'm a teenager, and there's a lot of shit that happens between then, obviously. Let's get into it. Hang on, I should probably full screen. Where's the... Look at me, I'm a pro. Hopefully it's not going to full screen the whole thing, yeah. Promosexual. Oh, it is. So I've got no idea what the other tabs do in them. I'm just going to assume everything's still fine and dandy, and I'll come back to chat in a second.
Hello, Mayumi here.
Oh, I forgot. So I am still Mayumi officially, like legally, but I've decided my middle name Violet is better, so I'm now going like socially by Violet, like Violet Rhodes, which is why these streams will be called V for Violet, because that's how I'm going now. It's not that I'm not Mayumi anymore, I still am, it's just, I don't know, Mayumi's just, I found that socially it was a bit difficult to talk to people who would find it difficult to even pronounce the name, to be honest. It's 3 syllables, but for some reason they'd always assume I was called Naomi or Naomi, you know, like with an N, and it's, yeah. I've got to find a way of doing this because I haven't got 2 monitors, and I want to be able to like keep an eye on chat while I'm. Give me a second. There has to be a way of... Oh, I think I just found it. No? There's something wrong with this app when it doesn't tell you that you are live yourself. Maybe I'm just too old. I don't know technology. But by rights it should tell me. There we go, my channel. I had to go around the long way, but I'm here. I hope you guys like the thumbnail though. That'll be a happy surprise once you're done with the stream. You can look at the... I think it'll start playing it, but I'm going to pause it. There we go. Now I can keep an eye on chat. Right, this is it. Now I'm going to go full like Super Saiyan mode. I am now the best reactor on YouTube. I'm better than what's his name? Forget it. I don't know his name. I've forgotten it. This guy who like is it Shaq or something? No, Life Shaq. That's it. he goes nuts for his reactions. I'm like that, but like somehow better. Not really. Anyway,
Unaware, I will soon be
let me just start from the beginning again.
Hello, Mayumi here. For those who are unaware, I will soon be undergoing male-to-female hormone therapy and living the rest of my life as a woman.
Okay, accurate. That is in fact true. I've been doing that now for 2.5 years, nearly. The time I made this video, I had not even yet started medication, so I was a bit of a doomer. I thought that nothing had ever come of it. There was something else I was going to say too, but it's completely forgotten. But there's a joke coming. I've probably ruined the joke.
Hormone therapy and living the rest of my life as a woman.
Yeah.
Natalie gave me a license. It's official.
So yeah, ContraPoints. This was a joke, and it didn't really land too well. I don't know. Like, I was a big fan of ContraPoints at the time. I still am, but you know, these days I'm not quite as like obsessed with like BreadTube and like recorrecting my old sins or whatever. Like. But yeah, I got a license to be trans from Natalie. It's that whole joke about like that trans like they influence everybody around them and indoctrinate and spread the sickness or whatever. Well, it was just a joke. But yeah, I like the Natalie for the win though, like it because of the for the win, and her surname is Win. So I've over-explained this too much. I'm overcompensating. Anyway, we continue. Gender dysphoria.
Like myself suffer from something called gender dysphoria.
Is it? It's gender dysmorphia, isn't it? Or is that a different thing? I don't know. I might have them both wrong. How is my audio, Dion? Is it loud enough, the desktop audio? Should I turn it up a bit? You're insanely quick. What are you retracting? I just seriously though, could you tell me if it's like level with my talking? Because I can turn it up. Okay, we're gonna just exit the thing a minute. Yeah, raise it up. Does anyone like Florence and the Machine these days? Good song. Anyway, back to full screen, and yeah. So I'm about to say some dumb shit. I'm about to say that you trans people have dysphoria, which is true. A lot of trans people have gender dysphoria, which is the exact thing that you have that makes you uncomfortable with your own body versus how you feel internally. But you don't actually need to be dysphoric to be trans. You can simply be trans by choice. I know that in some circles it's an unpopular opinion, but it is nonetheless a possibility that plenty of my friends have done. However, back when I made this, I didn't really think about what saying stuff like that would look like. And today it just looks really tone deaf, and yeah, because as you know, my partner is non-binary, and I don't think their dysphoria is quite on the level of mine. If they were here, they'd be able to tell you themselves. But anyway, but yeah, this bit slightly I've sort of changed my opinion on.
Medical term for a mental disconnect between one's physical self, one's body, and their innate sense of who they feel they are within. Now, when I was 12, I was not mature enough to describe such a condition.
I still can't. Like, even now, you can probably tell. Just people have this erroneous opinion that, like, because you're trans, you're an expert on all things trans and the condition itself. And And that's not true. You can be trans and still not know what on earth is going on. It's a scary existence. But nonetheless, some do know, you know. It's case by case kind of thing. Anyway, that is me. That was when I was a young lad, you know. Oh yeah, I can't relate, but I get what you mean. So yeah, that's me when I was sort of way before independence, put it that way. It's quite scary actually looking at myself. By the way, that's like face paint, you know. It's a thing, you know. When you're a kid, you go to some stranger and they paint you. They put shit on your face and you. God knows how much my parents paid for that. I don't know. It could have been like really expensive. I was too young. I didn't know what really money was back then. Anyway.
I had a feeling as if I was always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
True. Anyway, if you like the music, it's Nightcore. Say What You Want. If you just type that into YouTube, you'll get that music.
My own company, because when I was alone, I didn't have any standards to live up to.
Yep. It's funny how just a simple thing of putting on clothing that looks more preferable to you can give you a sense of freedom that you don't get. I mean, people will mistake it for a fetish almost. Like that's what people will call people like me, the autogynephile or whatever. But throwing a skirt on, or a nice top, or just something a bit more colourful, even if it's just, you know. No, my head is just blowing off my shoulders now. You know what I mean? It just gives you that sense of being more like yourself. And I find that I do that when I was younger, and I just felt like I couldn't do that around like society, really, you know, like my parents, friends. Yeah, there was just this kind of invisible. They never really explained it to me either. It was like an invisible thing. You know, when you've just got words that you know the words, but they disappear in your brain and you can't get them out. A taboo. There we go. It's like an invisible taboo, and they never explain to you what it is. You know, your parents don't sit you down as a young trans child and tell you can't wear girls' clothing. That'd be weird. Instead, you just kind of know it from how they act around other things, how they behave around other situations. You just kind of feel, oh, this is obviously a bad thing that I shouldn't be doing, despite the fact they've not told me. Yeah. Anyway, I'm pausing this way too much. I think I should probably go through a bit of a stretch and then sort of pause it.
I could, for the most part, be content despite feeling like I was everything my parents didn't want me to be.
Oh.
Then I got to 16.
See, this is my problem with my old fucking video making. I'm not 16 in that picture. I was actually like closer to 14. That's me in year 9. I don't look fucking grumpy. Like, I just look like I just want to go out and have a cig behind the bike shed. Like, look at that. Like, it's no wonder that I wasn't very popular with the girls back then. Like, look at that face. I don't know. I don't know. Then again, I mean, if I was a famous musician, then, you know, like, you know what they say, even like people like Brian Johnson gets the girls. Can't look any worse than, like, I don't know, Jack Black or whatever, but not saying he's ugly, just that I don't probably look any worse than he did back then, but yeah, that was me in school. So I'm about to talk about when I was 16, so you can probably just disregard the school photos.
Then I got to 16. I had not long been living independently, and I couldn't explain it, but in social situations I had intense frustration all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's like a secret, like, anger, and you just... I've never really been a violent person, but, like, you know, I mean, most trans people will tell you this, but, like, it's just that feeling like you just want to scream at everybody around you. You know, you just want to grab people by the shoulders and just shake them and just go, let me be myself, for the love of Christ. You know? Okay, Dion, you know you're saying that to a child, technically. Oh, no, I'm just joshing you. Anyway. Come on.
I didn't want to be noticed. I didn't want friends. And at home, the frustration was still there, but I could explore the root of it without judgment or consequence.
Yeah, when you've got your own place, you can dress up.
Anger around people? And why did I not feel like myself under the gaze of other people?
Okay, I used other people twice there. That's a bit...
I met my first girlfriend when I was about 16. Let's just call her P.
Yep, I'm not going to elaborate on that name. You know, that's why I've censored all the information there. But yeah, young love and all that. And in this picture, I still don't yet have a clue that I'm actually a woman. Like, I don't think P knew either, to be honest. I've got to be very careful not to accidentally say her name. So, please, it's not like I can ask you guys to help me out here, because, you know, I'm P. Just do not say anything other than P. Okay.
Me, P, and her parents were always going to festivals, holidays, and all sorts of...
Oh, Christ. Look at that haircut. Look at that fucking haircut. Oh, my God. Oh, overcompensating is one word for it. Oh. Oh, with a cup of tea. I look like I'm, like, off to the office for my first day at, like, Serial Killers United or whatever, you know? Fuck. Look at that. I got a nice tie, though. I like the tie. I still would wear a tie. But, I mean, that face. Like, you can just see that I'm just, like, I'd rather be anywhere else. Come on.
Sometimes they'd invite me.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, nipples. Got my tits out. Can't do that anymore. Can't get away with that now. That was at a festival. Anyway, I'm gonna stop pausing so much.
Me, P, and her parents were always going to festivals, holidays, and all sorts of other occasions. Sometimes they'd invite me. So
Wilderness Festival.
And one night we all decided to dress up. He was dressed in...
Now, yeah, this is what I mean, see? They were wearing their Victorian shit. I would have loved to have worn what P was wearing. Because that was beautiful. That was the whole Gothic Lolita thing. I love it. I was sort of wearing like a weird Mad Hatter type thing, you know? Like a cross between Lord of the Rings shit and like, you know, like a Hobbit Mad Hatter. But even that for me at the time was like a wild departure from where I had thought I was stuck, you know. So it unlocked this whole thing for me where I could like, oh, like you can wear this stuff, and okay, for some people there might be a time and a place for it, but for me it can, like, you know, I'm young and I'm not getting any younger, so time for me to branch out. And I instantly felt at that festival when I was wearing this stuff that I lightened up a bit and I stopped being so fucking angry at everybody.
Victorian Gothic dress with ribbons. And she somehow convinced me to dress in something a bit more androgynous than I'd normally do.
Well, kind of.
From the instant I stopped fighting her about it and just put it on, all the discomfort and agitation temporarily melted away.
Yeah, that was the key.
That night, no one gave a fuck who I was. And I was just being myself.
Because they were like razzed on like drugs and alcohol, probably. I don't know. It was like one of them festivals where like rich, like middle class people like tend to get off their rocker a bit, you know. Like it's the kind of circles that P and her family ran in. They were very middle class. And me coming from a lower class, sort of, I don't know, well, working class, you know. It was always like whenever I'd sort of go on a date with them, it'd be like me stepping into a different world, you know, like, you know, just like lonely boy from Telford, and then suddenly I'm in like Wilderness Festival, you know, and it's glamorous, but also I felt kind of guilty, you know, like I just felt like I was in the wrong place there as well. But these were one of the few occasions where I finally cracked through that wall, you know, like Peter Capaldi, you know, knocking down that wall of glass. Finally able to see where I was truly going. Wish I hadn't said that.
It felt like coming up for air.
Oh yeah.
I kept my mouth shut the whole weekend.
Not really.
Wait to get home and explore this.
Still quite noisy. Okay, get ready for the cringe pictures. Oh no, that's alright. I used to be in a band.
Years went by. He and I eventually separated.
Yep.
And I had this private me that would...
Now that's good hair. Oh, okay, no. Actually, you know, I said, like, get ready for the cringe. I actually look okay in that one. I look nice. Like, I like that skirt. I like the, Well, I know about the hair, because I cut that hair in myself. And I shouldn't have done. I went into the hairdressers, like 6 months afterwards, and they told me, you fucked your whole hair up. You know, we can't really work with this. And it's only recently that I've been able to go back into the hairdressers and ask them to do a full fringe. And it's actually been, like, obtainable, you know? Like, it looks good, and it's, like, professionally done, so it's not fucked up. Dion? Are you still here? No, I think she's gone. But yeah.
Skirts and colourful blouses in between work and visiting friends and family.
Oh, crap. There we go. That was lovely. That was Halloween. Believe it or not, I don't go to fucking Tesco's dressed like that. Okay, that's my this is my Halloween cosplay. I was being like a demon, so there was like a red, like frilly dress thing with the with the horns. I'd recently just had that tattoo done as well. Yeah, I don't regret the tattoo. I know you guys might cringe at it, but I'm alright with it. And yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a bit cringe for me. I wouldn't do this nowadays. That's the thing, though. When you just come out as a trans woman, you do kind of overcompensate. You go through this sort of like beauty pageant sort of month, you know, where you just kind of want to be like sort of stereotypically sexy and like, you know, this is my sexuality, you know, hello world, this is me. And I know to other people it'll look like I'm just kind of flaunting, like I'm just kind of a disgusting reprobate for like showing skin and oh, you're going to reduce the female form to just this. And it's like, it's not really, it's just, it was me trying to finally be proud of the body that I had, basically. That's the gist of it. Oh, hand is busy. Busy doing what, Dion? Right. Yeah. Sorry. There's a bit too much for you live on the internet.
On autopilot, but at home...
What am I saying? I haven't even listened to what I'm saying for a while.
And I had this private me that would strut around in miniskirts and colourful blouses.
Yeah, private me was the better me.
When in public, I was on autopilot, but at home, I was Mayumi.
Oh yeah. That's alright. Christmas.
I will now explain how I ended up with Mayumi.
I can't actually tell you the name of this song, this Japanese tune, and it also means because of copyright issues I might have to keep pausing this one all the time, just because I'm worried about it. But yeah, this is how I ended up with the name Mayumi, and I don't think it's really anything I can elaborate on. I did that pretty well in the video, but nonetheless I think I'm going to have to break it up with some levity. I don't know why there's so many black frames in this video, by the way. I should have filled that space more. Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know if you've heard of like Hideo Nakata, the Japanese filmmaker, famous for The Grudge. Is it The Grudge? No. The Ring, that's the one. The Ring, a bunch of other stuff. You can tell I'm a fan because I only know like 2 movies he's done. The Ring, or Ringu, and Sleeping Bride, which is a film about... so there's a woman who's in a plane crash, but she miraculously still manages to give birth to a young girl. This girl is born into a coma. The mother dies, so she never meets her mother. And she's visited at a hospital by a little boy, and he's constantly sort of drawn to her, and he decides when he gets old enough, I want to wake her up, you know. So he keeps going to the hospital and paying her a visit, leaving her flowers, you know, kissing her cheek on the cheek, you know, sort of like a little guardian angel kind of thing. It's quite cute. And then one day, she turns 17. She's been in a coma for 17 years, or 16, or I can't remember the exact age. And she suddenly wakes up, And it's just a confluence of sort of situations that I was watching this film exactly at the moment where I realised that I myself sort of realised I wasn't going to be happy carrying on the way I was, and I needed to make a drastic change. You know, I couldn't keep the private me private anymore, not without spending the rest of my life indoors. I would have to literally become a hermit crab. And I was watching this film, and it seemed to me like I'd just woken up into a new world, you know, like, I know it's cliche to say, but that's how it felt to me. I felt like I'd just come up for air, you know, like a curious dolphin or whatever, you know. So yeah, and the name of this girl is Yumi. And the reason I chose Mayumi is because there's an idol called Mayumi who I really like a Japanese idol. She's from the 80s, you know, the city pop. Mayumi Itsuwa. So it's a mixture of that with Yumi. So yeah, that's the reason I chose that name. People have accused me of cultural appropriation, but I don't really care, because it's not like I chose the name because I'm obsessed with Japanese mythology or whatever. It's just for me, and to be honest, it's only really the internet that does care. And to be honest, most of the people who know me around here in these parts, they have much bigger problems with me than the name I chose. My very existence to some people is enough to turn them to a breaking point. But anyway, so with that said, I can just kind of skim through this bit because I don't want to get caught by the copyright police.
One night I was watching a Japanese film called Sleeping Bride.
Yep.
Directed by Hideo Nakata, who also was the director of...
So that's Yumi, and I forget the male's name, the guy. But yeah. So she's in this clip of the film, she's just woken up, and she's kind of like, oh, look at the world, it's like crazy, and she's excited by such things as like her first bus ride. So, you know, it's almost like being like a newborn, but you're actually 17 years old. It's incredible. So she's literally only just learned how to walk, basically, in the film. Yeah.
The original version of The Ring, called Ringu.
Yep.
I had a box set of all 3 Ring films with a 4th.
Yeah, that's actually how I found I only know about the film because I found like a box set that had all of the Ring films, and then that kind of slapped in as like a bonus disc. It's quite an obscure film. It's not exactly one of Hideo's most well-known films. Most people that know that Ring or Ringu, if you're a fan of Japanese cinema, but you wouldn't necessarily know Sleeping Bride unless you were really into like soppy like love stories, or if you were Japanese, then I don't know how big this film was in Japan. I'm guessing it was big because Hideo Nakata is a well-known director. So all I do know is that I think it comes from 1988. The film, I think that's when it was released.
Thrown in the aforementioned Sleeping Bride.
Uh-huh.
The film was about a girl whose mother gave birth to her before dying as a result of a plane crash.
Yep. And they're just kind of messing around in sort of like a Japanese like fair, like there's a park and and she's just kind of new to it all, so she's kind of messing around with people, and people find it quite endearing because they're like, this girl seems way too like chirpy and happy and buzzing, compared to the rest of us. So yeah, I found that quite, I don't know, you'd have to watch it yourself. It's a lovely scene. I love how like she's radiant and so like beautiful and happy, and it almost seems like everything else around her is trying to catch up, because she only woke up like yesterday in her world, so she's got a lot of catching up to do, and it's like she's living every second. She's kind of, it's like her life is moving at light speed suddenly because she's only just woken up. Forgive me, I just need to take a bit of a drink. Oh. Right.
She was born into a coma but would still age. suddenly the girl called Yumi wakes up at the age of 18.
18 even? Okay, whatever. It's between the ages of 16 and 18, so it's 3 years. You know?
I'm kissed by a boy called Yuichi.
Yuichi, there he is.
I wasn't kissed
That's the
by
name of the guy. That's the name of the boy.
But I really related to Yumi.
I wasn't kissed by like a Japanese boy.
Yuichi.
I say boy. He by this time he's a man, so you know, like.
By a boy, but I really related to Yumi. I felt like I had also been in a coma for much of my life.
Yeah. I don't know. Does that sound? Is that like a bit of a yikesy moment right there? Like, am I being offensive to people that have been in comas or whatever? I don't know. Gotta get some soda. Yep, that's right, Dion.
And had only just found myself.
Yeah.
I had woken up.
True.
I chose the name Mayumi because of that film and the character Yumi.
Yep. I didn't mention anything about the idol, but I've just told you that on stream, so that's full circle now. Jesus. Sudden persistent cough. Anyway.
These days, people either call me Mayumi, Yumi, Mayu, or Tranny.
Yeah, okay, that was a yikes. You know when you first come out as trans and you want to be one of the cool ones, so you're like, oh yeah, you can call me whatever you want. You can disrespect my existence. That's fine. That's like all dandy. You can call me he. I don't care. You know, like yeah, because you don't want to be the uppity transsexual. You know, you don't want to be that person. But as I've gotten older, I've realised that some people won't give you respect, regardless of how much you let them walk all over them. So these days, I would definitely say, if you call me the T-Slayer, you don't get to be a friend. I'm not sure if I'd react. I wouldn't do a Will Smith at the Oscars, you know. I wouldn't go and slap him, you know, like, keep my name out of your mouth. But I don't think you'd be invited to any party that I would or would not arrange. Due to the choice of those words. So yeah, this bit definitely. I mean, it doesn't stop people from calling me it. Occasionally, it happens, but you know, I used to be a lot more okay with it than I am, you know, these days. Anyway, it's just a really cute film. Speaking of which, I actually look cute there. I don't know why I chose to wear a t-shirt underneath that. I think it's because at the time I didn't really have like boobs yet. I've now got a lot more breast tissue, so yeah. You can Dion can do the Will Smith in for me. I can just be the one with the face like thunder, you know, when someone calls me the T-Slayer, and they'll just kind of go up and just boom, you know, like that Batman meme, you know, just backhand. Yeah, I had no breasts back then, so I think I was just kind of trying to present as much as I could. Also, notice how like my hair is like recovering slowly. Like it still looks like it's been cut in horribly by me because I'm an idiot. But you can tell that it's kind of like slowly getting some shape. Also, look at how I used to have my shit in my flat. Like, it's a lot tidier these days. I should have put more pictures in. I should have put so many more pictures in. I had lots of cool ones of like me looking better than this and old school stuff when I was a kid, you know.
I received a phone call.
Oh, by the way, music in the background, sorry, is Crystal Castles, Transgender. It's not exactly a song that's, I don't know, it's not exactly a rallying cry of support for trans people, but I like the song. It's one of those songs where it's just like, it's not exactly like hateful or like full of love. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's a bit bleak and sort of like, you just kind of have to listen to it in the background to see what I mean. It's just kind of like there, you know. Although I've heard that the guy from Crystal Castles is a bit of a knob, so I don't know. This is one of them where you'd have to separate the art from the artist, maybe, you know. Bit problematic. Moving on. I'll rewind a bit.
received a phone call one night from my mum.
Oh.
Things started pretty normal. We just asked how everybody was and talked gossip.
Yeah, oh, this phone call from my mum that happens every, 5 years? Like, me and my mum have this kind of relationship where, like, we don't hate each other, you know, she's the most supportive person I have in my family, which I can say it now, but it doesn't really mean that much. It's, you know, it's not really a high bar, but it's one that she's higher on than anyone else in my family. But we don't have much contact with each other, so we see each other every now and again. And I wish that wasn't the case, but unfortunately the older I get, the more further apart me and my mother get. Okay, so this was like a phone call where I had to pack in fucking everything from the last 3 years of my life into one phone call, because, you know, sometimes they'll give you that phone call, but you're not ever sure about when they're going to call again. So you just kind of have to get it all in there. You have to just blurt everything out and just be like, this is who I am now, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going. And I felt that desperation, especially because I hadn't talked to anyone for like 3 months. I was deep in my own little hole, you know, practically suicidal at the time. Anyway, I'll leave this to play for a bit.
Things started pretty normal. We just asked how everybody was and talked gossip. My mum rung me at a time when I was deep into my private life, and I hadn't left the house in weeks.
Look how miserable I am. It's true, I hadn't showered in ages, I looked fucking horrible. I just about had the energy to, like, shave myself, because at the time I was really dysphoric, so, like, that's the only thing I gave a fuck about, having a clean face, having nice hair. Everything else was just kind of like, whatever, you know, just live for as long as you can, and then eventually life will catch up too much and you can't outrun it anymore.
I suddenly broke down and whispered through the phone, I'm in a bra and I feel happy.
I'm in a bra and I feel happy. Those are the words. That was my coming out to my mum. I know, it's a bit funny, isn't it? It's a bit ridiculous. Like, you have to see things from my position, though, you know, when you've got someone on the phone who's your mum, you know, you haven't spoken to them in years, and you're just kind of on the verge of crying, you know, you're deeply sort of like, your heart's racing, and you're just kind of like, fucking say anything at all. Anything would be better than silence. And you just look down. You look down at your chest, and you see a bra, you know, and there's nothing in it. There's no reason why you're wearing it other than to try and trick yourself into thinking you've somehow become what you want to be. And it just kind of falls out of your mouth. And before I even realised, you know, before, like, I'd said it, and then I realised I'd just said it, and it's like, oh, fuck, I just said that, you know, it's kind of like, you know, when you involuntarily just kind of spew something out of your face, and you instantly regret it, but then it's out there, you know. I've got like a bit of liquid right at the back of my throat. My apologies. Anyway.
Those were my exact words. Believe me, I wish I had said something better.
Oh, I wish.
But I was holding so much inside that it all just exploded out of me.
Mm-hmm.
At first, my mum thought I was trolling, but as she slowly realised I was being serious.
Most mothers do, you know, when you come out and you tell them, oh, I'm wearing, like, you know, like, I'm doing full Mardi Gras, and they're like, oh, right, you must be joking. Especially me, because the last time my mother saw me, I almost had, like, toxic masculinity. I was very interested in, like, oh, I'm going to grow a thick beard and be in a rock band, and, you know, and wear, like, cargo shorts, and, you know, just be a rocker dude, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm a little, like, pansy, basically, you know, like, it must have been quite a bit of a whiplash for her, really, you know. I'd been overcompensating for so long.
Reassured me that she didn't love me any less as a girl. I was holding so much inside that it all just exploded out of me. At first, my mum thought I was trolling, but as she slowly realised I was being serious, she reassured me that she didn't love me any less as a girl.
And that's true. As much as my mum doesn't really get in contact much, and you know, I don't really have a massively great relationship with her. I don't think she loves me any less than she would have if I'd have stayed a boy, because we haven't exactly started talking more often since I came out, you know. It's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, like most parents do, you know, she didn't choose the best words when I came out. She sort of treated it like it was a death in the family. And, you know, that's a bit, you know, I mean, for them, you know, they don't see the problem because, you know, they're not, like, clued in to, like, how, you know, how wrong that sounds to us. But, like, look at all the dolls. Hang on, I'll talk about that in a minute. I've completely forgotten what I was saying, actually. But you get the drift of what I'm trying to say. Also, yeah, I fucked my hair up again, it seems. I just couldn't help myself. I like full fringe. Ooh. Also, yeah, I went through a bit of a weeb kind of phase. Not really into it much anymore. I watched anime still. I like some books, you know. I like music, you know. But I can't say I'm into the whole, like, you know, I'm not literally walking around like Naruto, you know, doing the Naruto walk, you know. I can't show you. Yeah, you know, it was around about this time I was doing the doll videos. Most of you who've been subscribed for ages will know that I used to do like porcelain doll comedy and really rubbish videos that just kind of, I don't know, abstract art, whatever. And they're all in the background. You can just see them all over the fucking flat. This is the hovel that I was making those videos in. Sometime I'll react to that video as well, the video I made explaining all that stuff. That'll be for next Friday, maybe.
I was fucking terrified up until she said those words.
Okay. What language?
That she didn't love me any less as a girl.
Yeah.
And I was fucking terrified.
So yeah, I you know, say what I want about my mum, but she loves me just as much as she did, which, you know, it is good. You know, you wouldn't want them to hate you even more because of the choices you've made. You know, that didn't hurt them in any way. So yeah, that's that.
Up until she said those words, I had read so many stories.
Yeah, I was scared. I didn't know how she'd react, because I knew how my fucking stepdad reacted, and I knew how my real dad reacted. I'm not sure if I want to talk about that tonight, but yeah, they fucking, they didn't like any of it. Shut up, Dion. Anyway. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying again. Hopefully I was at the end of whatever the point I was making.
She slowly realised I was being serious. She reassured me that she didn't love me any less as a girl. And I was fucking terrified up until she said those words.
Yep. Because you always expect they'll fucking hate it. You always expect they're going to be like, oh, you are a black sheep of the family. You must go to hell. You can never see the other sisters again, you know. You stay away from the kids. Which some of the family members did. Because they just couldn't get past it. They thought I'd just be showing up all the time wearing fucking like lingerie. And I'm like, no, that's not quite it. You know, I won't be wearing anything more like crazy than the average girl does. But for some reason they thought I'd be like ramming my agenda right down little Timmy's throat. So yeah. But my mum didn't do that, so that's good.
So many stories of people in my position being completely shunned by their family. I was in a position where if I didn't reveal myself, it would have driven me to suicide, as it nearly had time and time again throughout the years.
Yeah, and I'm not alone there. That's statistically a fact, unfortunately. I think it's like 40%, isn't it? It's an extremely high number, and it's one that shouldn't have to exist. But yeah, I would have ended up that way. In fact, I think I'd attempted suicide twice that year. I think the last time I attempted to take my... Did I just fuck YouTube up by saying the S word? Like, hopefully they'll let me talk about my own experiences without... I don't know, trigger warning, I guess. I'm about to go into, like, suicidal ideation, okay? So the last time I attempted it was just before I met Dion, and then I haven't since. I'm not going to bore you with how or whatever, but yeah, things got really dark very quickly for quite a while. And it wasn't just me being trans that caused all that. I was genuinely depressed about a lot of other stuff too. But being trans kind of felt like the final like nail in the coffin, you know. Yeah, moving on. It's good. It's a tune.
After I told my mum that I would be
Crystal
referring
Castles.
myself to a gender clinic, the
Yeah.
news filtered
That's a clinic. It's been a while. I'll talk about that at the end.
family, and most were supportive. Most on my stepfather's side weren't.
Yeah, they were all pricks.
But I was lucky. My mum, my 3 sisters, my mum's new husband.
Oh no. Okay. I no longer have 3 sisters. I no longer have 3 sisters. I've got 2 sisters. My mum miraculously managed to pop out not only one filthy transsexual, but a whopping 2. So I'm not going to tell you their name because I'm not sure they want it revealed. But I have a brother. So yeah, I don't know if my mum would call that bad luck. I hope she doesn't, but you know, I'm kind of like my mum in that respect. You know, I don't get to talk to them much, but I think I care about them all the same, regardless of what choice they make. Whether they, you know, if this really is kind of just a phase and they go back to just being, you know, the old name they had, you know, with all the old bells and whistles, then fine. But if they carry on, then I'm there to support them the whole way. You know? 2 out of 4, 50%. 50%. Look at that ratio. Look at the ratio. Hang on, let me just catch up with chat. Yeah, good point, Dion. It's 41% the suicide rate, but it drops down massively when a trans person has just one supportive person in their life. So thank you, Mum. Probably would have died without you. Unalive. I should have said unalive, yeah. I should have said Roblox or whatever. Let's do the rewind again.
But I was lucky. My mum, my 3 sisters, my mum's new
Yeah,
husband,
no. Got a
were all
brother
very
and 2
supportive,
sisters.
and I thank them to this day, because if they
You're the best. Yeah, Mum's husband. I don't know if I mentioned his name, but yeah, my mum's current husband is lovely. Compared to the fucker that she was married to previously, he is. Sorry, I misgendered him. Whoopsie. I don't think he'll mind though. He's a cis man. Couldn't have made it this far without you all. A small act of kindness can move mountains. I must have been smoking some shit because I would not say that these days. Not that it's not true, just that it sounds a bit sort of like flowery, you know, sort of like, oh, you know, hear ye, hear me, you know, hear ye, you know, that kind of old school shit. Cancelled. It's my first episode, Dion. It's my first episode. Things can only get better from here. I think I've come out of my shell, actually, you know. I was scared shitless to begin with. And here I am, about an hour in. And I think I'm doing okay. I don't know. This, you know, you have to start sometime, don't you? You know? Because I've been worrying about this for weeks. I've wanted to stream, and every time I just have that butterfly in my stomach that stops me. And tonight, I thought, fuck it, let's jump in. And if they don't like it, that's fine. They don't have to fucking watch it. So, here I am. Why is that so low? There we go. Turn over a bit. But yeah. Anyway.
They weren't, that shit could have ended me.
Yeah, I think you get the idea.
We are now going to fast forward a few years to present day.
Present day, meaning like 2019. And I wasn't even living in this flat by the time 2019 was around. These are all pictures. 2019 was just the time where you'd be like taking the train up to the clinic and they'd be like psychoanalyzing you, making sure that you've definitely chosen the right decision, you know, that you're not nuts, you know. Like, I mean, obviously they've got to like do some checks to make sure that you're serious about it, but not for an entire fucking year, you know. Like, I think it was, for me, it was like 2 years before they even considered putting me on meds. I had to change my name officially by DPOL. I had to get all the documents, my bank card sorted, pretty much everything except for my passport, basically. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through. Plug my art. Dion does art. Can you drop it in the chat and I'll... I think RMZ art, I think, something like that. Well done, Dion, you've derailed me again. So yeah, I had to jump through a lot of hoops before they'd put me on the meds, and then I was, you know, you go through that sort of ladder process of like 1 milligram that then goes to 2 milligrams of estradiol. And they're soon going to put me on 3, I think. I don't know, they're taking their time. And I eventually had to go on testosterone blockers as well. Not immediately, but, you know, at the point where my estrogen got high enough, it was quite dangerous to have the testosterone be at the same level, so they had to, like, taper that off. So it's like a crossroads situation. As one gets higher, the other one has to decrease. You can't ever have equal of both, really. That's I mean, maybe you can, I don't know, but it seems to me like that'd be a bad idea. Yeah, put it in the fucking chat, Dion. Christ's sake. Never mind. They'll get round to that eventually. But yeah, 2019, here we go.
Being single for 4 long years.
Oh.
Being convinced I'd never find a girlfriend who had no issue.
A girlfriend? A they friend? A non-binary finery friend. 4 years, yeah. I just kind of thought I was unfuckable as a trans person. I just thought, like, no one's gonna fuck me. And, like, you know, now I'm engaged. So, you know, it's like, you find them eventually. Most trans people will find somebody eventually. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass and tell you that it's gonna be easy, because, you know, like, it's a cruel world we live in, but, you know, I think, you know, I didn't expect it to happen, and yet it did. So, if you've got the same kind of mindset where you don't think it's possible, you might surprise yourself. And this is Dion in chat. My annoying they friend. My future partner. Like, in law, you know, like, officially. Anyway. Fucking play. Jesus.
I finally hit the jackpot.
Jackpot?
12 months later, we are still together.
Simp.
And I'm about to start the treatment after many years on the way to...
Oh, I've started 2.5 years. I'm now doing fucking voice training so that I can sound a bit more feminine. Yeah, fuck off, Dion. I know, I didn't know to say a load of nice things, and now I'm just kind of like, fuck off. No, don't go really. Like, I might need you to just finish this shit off. What was I saying? Yeah, I've been on the meds for 2.5 years. I've mentioned all the stuff I was on. So yeah, like, this is all, I made this at a time where I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know, like, you know. But yeah, a lot of stuff's changed. I have, like, a lot less facial hair. You know, like, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see my face has changed quite a lot. I've changed my hairstyle, which makes me look a bit more feminine. I know that's not really like a proper cosmetic change, but it's helped. My ass is bigger, basically. Like, I've got thicker thighs. Yeah. And I cry a lot. Like, I cry so fucking easily. I was listening to Marina earlier, like, the ancient... What is it? Fuck. You know, Ancient Stories in a Modern Land, or whatever the album's called. I was listening to it earlier. I should know the album name. But I was bawling my eyes out when I got to like Highly Emotional People. It's a really good song. Check that album out. And Purge the Poison is a really good song. It's just a good album. Buy it. Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. That's the one. I would get the image up for you, but I can't be asked. Maybe I'll react to it someday if Marina doesn't feel like putting me in copyright prison for doing so. I think that one's probably best off recording it and then cutting it down a bit, just to be on the safe side. Anyway, I'll just to remind myself what's going on, I'll rewind.
12 months later, we are still together.
Nearly 4 years. Nearly 4 years I've been with Dion.
I'm about to start the treatment after many years on the waiting list.
I hope that for trans people coming up behind me, like, you know, the new breed, if you will, I hope that you guys have a better time on that waiting list than I did. Like, I had to wait nearly 4 years, like nearly the entire time I was single. It actually, like, that's a funny story, actually. I broke up with my ex, like, 4 years ago, just so I could come out, because I was just so sick and tired of being in this useless relationship, not being able to be myself. So I mean, I didn't do it the best way. I could have just told her I'm trans, but no, instead I just became a massive knobhead, just so that they'd leave me anyway, and then I could be free and come out and do all the, you know. But yeah, that's when I went on the waiting list. Soon after that, and this is 4 years, including all of the consultations with them. Pretty much it was 4 years from like putting my name on the list and waiting around to then being put on the medicine, the actual pills. No, 4 whole years. Obviously, you should expect a phone call at least between that time. So, you know, they'll I don't know, these days due to the pandemic, you can probably get away with like a Skype call or something. But back when I started, I had to get the train all the way up there, and it's a long distance. It's a long way. There's not a lot of gender clinics in the UK. There's only like, I think, one for every major city, basically. You've got one in the south, maybe a couple, like 2 or 3 in nearby London or whatever, and then you've got like the Nottingham one, and then you've got like other areas sort of east and west and all up and down, you know. It's just kind of, they're peppered throughout the country, but you've got to be very lucky to be nearby one. Because if you live anywhere where there's like not one nearby, which there's a pretty good chance you will, because of how sparse they are, then it's going to be expensive to get to the you know, you need to take a train all the time. It was for me anyway. So I hope you have a better time. I hope that you're able to do video calls, and I hope that they don't fuck you around for 4 years before you get to like actually start transitioning, if that's what you want to do. I don't know, because not everyone requires like medical treatment, but those that do, I hope that it's quicker for them. I've heard there has been progress in that area since I transitioned.
We are now going to fast forward a few years to present day.
After being rewinded too much.
For 4 long years and being convinced I'd never find a girlfriend who had no
we know.
The jackpot. And 12 months later, we are still together.
Yep.
And I'm about to start the treatment after
Legends never die.
I have given consent for the medication, and I should be starting before the year's end.
That was optimistic, that was. I should be starting before the year's end. I actually had to wait like nearly a year and a half. I think it was like just before the pandemic hit, so we're talking like late 2019 maybe. No, because pandemic started in like, am I saying pandemic too much? I think it was like March 2019 or something. That's when it hit, and I remember it was just before then, so maybe it was actually early 2019. Maybe there actually wasn't a lot of time between me actually starting the meds and doing that video, but it certainly felt like a long time. I don't know. And I definitely did start before the year's end, so I guess technically that was a good time. Look at my face.
Now, this video is here just to inform you that my appearance will change.
It has.
And I don't want anyone getting confused by it all. I want to be on camera more in my videos.
Not tonight.
My channel is going to cover a lot more than just my transition. But all the same, if you're triggered by it, you can just go ahead and unsubscribe.
Yeah, why don't you fuck off? Yeah, I should have been more like sort of abrasive with that. I should have been like, look, you know, my channel is about what I want it to be about. If you don't like it, get fucked. You know, like, you know, dickhead. But no. Frankly, I've only got 302 subscribers, so I don't. When somebody leaves or they're really offended, I don't even know, because it's such a small number that you don't really even notice. And I know that's kind of weird, because when you're bigger, you also have that problem. But it's like that Goldilocks zone. When you're in that Goldilocks zone where you've got a couple of thousand or whatever, you do notice when you've got like a sudden load of people leaving. I've noticed that happens with other accounts when they go up and down all the time, like a yo-yo. But when you've got smaller numbers, you're just kind of like, well, we lost one, but that's fine, because we haven't gained anybody or lost anybody else for years. It just seems like the number stays static, and then occasionally it goes up by one, or it goes down by one every like month or two. I don't really want to become like a massive YouTuber anyway. I kind of like the idea of gradually just slowly trickling up to like a respectable, I don't know, like 500 maybe one day. But yeah, it's interesting. We're nearly at the end.
And just my transition. But all the same, if you're triggered by it, you can just go ahead and unsubscribe.
Get fucked.
For the rest of you who aren't bothered, thank you for your time. I have lots planned.
Did I?
More doll meme content.
Oh, there wasn't actually. After this video, I said there was going to be more doll shit, like the doll videos, Reclusive Doll Family. There fucking wasn't. Like, I ended it. I think there was one video after that, and it was shit. And because they took so long to make, and no one was watching them. You know, I was just like, this is taking me all night just to set up a fucking shot. Like, you know, stop motion shit. And then it gets like, what, 10 views? And you're just kind of like, and then you watch it back and you're just kind of like, it wasn't that funny even. Like, yeah.
Part 2 of my alternative idol gig.
That's up.
Various bits and bobs.
Yeah, I went to see Necronom Idol with Dion actually.
Why do I always sound like Theresa May every time I record?
Why do I sound like Theresa May? You fucking twat. I sound beautiful. It's offensive. We are done with that video. Now I'm just going to sit and chat and wait for people to turn up. Right? Anybody want to, like, pop in? The chat is going nuts, or is that just because I'm catching up? Yeah, that would be me then. This is just... Alright. Well, I don't know what to do, because, you know... Yeah, should it end? Should we end it, Dion, or do I do something else? You guys are probably getting tunnel vision, aren't you? Yeah, it's all like... Look at my metrics. Look at that. 1 concurrent viewer, that's Dion. 7 views. It's not even fucking up yet. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. I'm sometimes funny. From time to time. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know, it's usually politics, or I post Power Rangers on there. You like Power Rangers? Oh. I was expecting at least one other person other than Dion tonight, but... Yeah, I think this is the end, everyone. I guess I'll be back next Friday. I don't know what I'm gonna do though. This was like a special thing for, like, you know, Trans Day of Visibility. That's my bed springs, by the way. I'm kind of sitting on my bed while doing this. It is comfy, but like noisy. But yeah, so I'm probably going to be doing like tier lists and like talking about films I've seen and music that I was talking about Marina earlier. I love doing that, and I'd like to do that with a lot more music. What the fuck? Sorry, mate, your thing just went nuts and started buffering on the other window. Any questions? Really? Is my viewfinder that far behind? Wow. You guys can all see this because it's like sharing the thing. That's literally what I was doing. Like, yeah, that was a while ago. Nobody's popping in, so I'm just gonna be sat here in silence for like ages. If I don't end it now, so I'm gonna finish it and count it as a win. Okay. So I love you all. Have a happy day. I think it's still Trans Visibility Day for another hour and a half, at least in my neck of the woods. So yeah, stay sick. Goodbye.